I have some great news that I'd like to share with you concerning some updates with respect to the successes that we are having concerning substance abuse treatment here in Bermuda. And I also want to provide you with an update in terms of the specific projects. There's been some recent information and questions asked in the media concerning that, so I want to provide you with that information. And prior to that, I wanted to allow you to help me to celebrate those individuals within our community that work on the front lines as we try to engage with respect to the issues of substance abuse, and in particular those individuals that provide the counseling, the policy development, and so forth. And I'm actually joined by the director of the National Drug Commission, Ms. Joanne Dean, as well as Mr. Roger Trott, who is the director of the Men's Treatment Facility, and Andrea Bassett, who is the director of the Women's Treatment Center, and no doubt you'll all know Commissioner Edward Lamb, who is part of this whole process because we obviously have treatment facilities with respect to those individuals that are incarcerated. Now, I am certainly, like I said, a firm believer of recognizing the individuals that help and that fight with respect to, or at the forefront of our issues concerning treatment. And these are some of the individuals that we see within the community that provide these services. And again, they do go above and beyond the call of duty, and I want to publicly acknowledge their participation and the tremendous value that they give to our community towards helping us to eradicate the issues of substance abuse. Again, like I said, I want to spend a few moments talking about some of the actual substance abuse facilities that we have and provide you with an update. First and foremost, I'd like to speak to you for a few moments about the Transitional Living Center, which is currently located at the West End at the Westgate facility. The Transitional Living Center was developed as a partnership between the Department of National Drug Control, the Department of Corrections, and a United States-based company called Liberty Behavioral Healthcare Corporation. Now, the mission of the TLC was to provide a drug-free, safe, and structured treatment environment where residents live and work together within a supportive and habilitative framework of mutual self-help, which will assist the residents with successful integration and reintegration into the community upon their release from the correctional facilities. The program accommodated approximately 15 adult male residents and ran between a period of 9 and 12 months as a residential program, followed by 6 months of aftercare whilst the residents re-entered society. Now, as you're aware, the TLC facility has been closed since the end of June 30th, following the completion of a 10-year contract that we had with the American Liberty Behavioral Healthcare Corporation. And the intention is that the Department of Corrections will now run the TLC program with a timeline of reopening in April of 2013. Now, to accomplish this, the Department of Corrections is currently reviewing the delivery of the programs as well as the staffing requirements that will be needed to facilitate this program. And the proposed TLC program will be operated under the supervision of a director, and there will also be case managers and assessment officers who also will come be supervised by the director. These individuals will also deliver programs for the residents. There will be custody staff that will also provide the security presence in addition to being well trained so that they can help to assist in the delivery of programs. Now, there is a goal to also partner with some of our community partners and outside agencies within the community to assist the Department of Corrections to provide the personnel in the delivery of the necessary services that will be required for the TLC residents. The offenders who will be targeted for the TLC program will be those individuals that are of a higher risk. There's obviously a higher probability for those individuals that may reoffend, so the program will be geared towards those individuals as opposed to what was previously the case when it was low-risk offenders. And I should also point out that during the restructurings from the end of June, we've had a restructuring committee for TLC, which has been the persons involved in that committee have been the management of the corrections department, the psychologists, as well as the caseworkers within corrections. And they're all working together to produce a program that will cater to high-risk offenders. These offenders have also been identified to best be suited and serviced by this program because of the certain challenges that they have in terms of re-entering into the community. The critical aspects that are currently being determined will be the selection of those persons to work within the TLC, as well as the training that will be required. I'd like to now touch upon the captains in charge, or the substance abuse treatment facility, which is in the Dockyard. The substance abuse treatment co-ed facility is a current capital project that we anticipate will be completed this fiscal year. Both the men's treatment center and the women's treatment programs will be relocated into this purpose-built facility. The new facility will provide a permanent and stable location for the treatment centers, which currently operate out of rental premises, and it will allow for increased bed capacity, increasing the availability of male beds from 12 to 24, and increasing the female beds from 8 to 12. And it will also offer a safe and therapeutic environment for those seeking recovery from alcohol and drug abuse. And the programs will operate as separate entities within the facility and will be completely segregated. The next facility I'd like to highlight is the Right Living House. And the Right Living House is a therapeutic community which is located at the farm, the work release facility in St. George's. It opened its door to residents in the summer of 2009, and the program was developed in a partnership between the Bermuda Department of National Drug Control as well as the Department of Corrections, with the support and backing of Bermuda's Ministry of Culture and Social Rehabilitation. These two agencies set out to lessen the corrosive impact of drug abuse and crime within our community. The program, which currently houses 18 residents, is segregated from the general prison population in order to diminish the potential negative influences of the untreated inmate subculture on the TC's change-oriented pro-social culture. I think it's also important to note and to point out that many of the clients who would normally have been in the TLC program are now being serviced by the Right Living House program. The Right Living House is a highly structured educational and therapeutic treatment environment that expects the offenders to display responsible, appropriate behavior at all times. Treatment center offenders are constantly challenged on their maladaptive criminal addicting thinking, attitudes, and behaviors, reflective of the drug and criminal lifestyle. And as the residents progress through the program, they are supported in their expressions of pro-social attitudes and behavior. Right Living is composed of peer groups and counseling staff that constitutes the community or the family within the residential facility. This peer-to-community structure strengthens the residents' identification with a perceived ordered network of peers. And more importantly, this structure works to develop relationships of mutual responsibility among the residents who are at various stages or phases of development with respect to their program. Turning now to the Women's Treatment Center, this facility is the only residential treatment facility for women in Bermuda, and it provides long-term comprehensive treatment for addiction and related disorders. The program is delivered over a minimum of a 12-month period, again using a phased approach. And all the clients are assessed on completion of each phase prior to being progressed on to the next phase. Each client is judged on her individual merit for treatment planning, and the average length of stay in the program to date is approximately 15 months. The Women's Treatment Center first opened its doors in 2004 with 6 residential beds and 2 transitional beds, and it was later relocated to its current site in Devonshire in 2006, where it has 8 residential beds as well as 2 transitional beds. In 2008, the Women's Treatment Community Residence was opened by government to provide supportive and safe housing for women in recovery who are transitioning back into the community. This facility offers supportive housing for up to 2 years for 8 women at a time, and the residential bed capacity will increase to 12 when the program relocates to the new facility that I spoke about at the Dockyard, Captains in Charge. The Women's Treatment was the first local substance abuse treatment center to be internationally accredited by CARF in 2009, and it has maintained international standards since then, earning a gold star of 3 years accreditation in 2011. I'd just like to take a few moments to share some statistics with you concerning women's treatment. Since 2006, 23 women have participated in the completion exercises to date, which have occurred every 2 years. 5 have successfully completed the nursing assistant program, and 1 individual is working towards an associate's degree at the Bermuda College. Those individuals obviously have to be commended. They went through the women's treatment program and now have completed further academic programs. We also have 9 individuals who are employed full-time, and 2 women have been reunited with their children and have gained full custody of their children. And finally, I want to close by highlighting our men's treatment services, which is a 12-month, 3-phased residential substance abuse and related disorders treatment program for men aged 18 and older, and that also is situated in Bermuda. And the 3 phases of our orientation, treatment, and transition. The program is currently being reorganized to incorporate primary care along with relapse prevention and to transition from males into the new phased approach. Clients meet with their primary counselor to develop their treatment plans, discuss personal issues, and monitor their phase progress. Residents are eligible to progress from one phase to the next once they have met the requirements for the preceding phase. Presently, the maximum bed capacity is 12. However, the number is set to double to 24 once the program, again, at Captains in Charge, the dockyard facility, has been completed. The Men's Treatment Center is currently preparing for their international accreditation by the CARF, with plans to be surveyed May of 2013. Currently, Men's Treatment has 11 residential clients. 3 were referred directly from the Westgate Correctional Facility, 4 are from the Drug Treatment Court, and 4 are voluntary. In the past year, 9 clients have successfully completed the treatment program. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for indulging me and allowing me to brag for a few moments about the wonderful work that our service providers are giving to the community with respect to addictions and drug treatment. And I think it's also very important to highlight the strides that we are making. If you look at those statistics, we have certainly are making very, very good strides insofar as assisting individuals to address their issues concerning substance abuse, because as you can appreciate, substance abuse also has a very social impact on all of us, and a real impact and a significant impact on our community. And I don't think that there's anyone who in Bermuda does not know or has not been affected some kind of way within their family or their work colleagues or the like with somebody that has a substance abuse challenge. And again, I just wanted to take this opportunity to signal out the individuals that are working to help to eradicate substance abuse, and also to confirm government's continued commitment towards taking steps to provide assistance to those individuals that need it, that find themselves addicted to drugs and alcohol. Thank you.
Do you have any questions at all from this regarding today's topic?
Just one quick question. I caught you saying the transitional living that closed because the contract with Liberty had finished?
No, TLC closed in June of this year, right? Following 10 years of we had a contract that had been renewed, but they had been effectively operating the program for 10 years, and we felt that we could perhaps best utilize the the capabilities that we have here in Bermuda, and allow for not only the individuals within the correctional facility, but also within our Bermudian populace that have those type of skill sets for them to run the TLC program, as opposed to outsourcing it to a United States-based company.
Any further questions as it relates specifically to Rod?
Okay, thank you.
There's a lot of stuff here that the television versus really have a,
I beg your pardon?
since television really have a limited vendor. So what I'd like to ask you is, in all these organizations that set up, do you see a light at the end of this tunnel?
Is this a deja vu, Ms. Bassett? I recall a similar question posed by a similar reporter. Yes, absolutely. I mean, when you can talk about statistics and recognize that we've had, in the last year, I think it said 23 individuals have completed, let's talk about women for a moment, the program successfully. Some of them are doing their nursing, have graduated from the Nurses Assistance Program at the Bermuda College. 9 of them are in full-time employment. Many of them have regained custody of their children. Then those are successes. And they have to be celebrated, because, if anybody knows anybody, and I'm certain that everybody in this room knows somebody that has struggled with substance abuse. And it is an ongoing struggle. You're in recovery every day. And for us to be able to acknowledge and to have the programs that exist here in Bermuda, so that you don't have to fly overseas to receive the requisite treatment that you need, and knowing that there's so many individuals that have successfully completed it, men and women, We know that there's a huge percentage and a correlation between persons that have committed offenses and drug abuse. And we have programs that are not only within the corrections facility, but also upon release and prior to transitioning out through the TLC and the Right Living Center that are designed to help that person minimize the effects of reoffending by providing that transition, the basis, et cetera, as well as addressing the issues related to substance abuse, which no doubt in the vast majority of cases got them into the prison services in the first place.
The success that you're having.
I'm sorry, pardon me.
The success that you're having with both treatment centers
Mm-hmm.
is because of the model that you know how to implement it for these treatment centers?
I think it's a combination of a number of things. First and foremost, it is the persons that are running these programs and the ones that are engaged and committed to ensuring that they can do what they can to help people reach sobriety and to remain in recovery. Secondly, we use international best practices. So the models that we are using, I mean, you've heard how many of the Women's Treatment Center for the last 3 years has been accredited, and the Men's Treatment Center we anticipate will be accredited by next May. Of course, the women are always in front of the men, but that's a different issue. However, the model is internationally accepted, and we have a team, particularly at the NDC, who one of their sole purposes is to research and make sure that whatever models are internationally acceptable and best for Bermuda are the ones that we're going to adopt. And again, I have to commend the individuals that are implementing that model.